Hi everyone, welcome to English Acquisition 12 class. It's great to see you again in this opportunity. Okay, so today you will learn about writing process. So what is exactly writing process and how do we actually prepare our writing? Now, a good essay is a result from effective planning. You must make plans for your ideas before writing the first word of the first sentence of the first paragraph. So why is writing process important? Is that it's very important because in writing an essay, you need to make sure that everything is spot on, everything is correct, starting from the structure, the grammar, as well as the vocabulary, and also the cohesiveness and also the coherence. Now, there are 7 steps, okay, in writing process. Okay, the first one is choosing a topic or topic selection, and then after that there is a brainstorm, and then there's outline, write the first draft, and then you want to get feedback from a person, from another person, and then you want to reread, rethink, and rewrite, and then the last one is the final draft. Now, of course, a writing process, you cannot just go through all this writing process in all situations, because in our class I usually give you a spontaneous writing task, right? And there's no time for you to do all of these steps all at once. However, maybe in some other time you may consider writing an essay for your portfolio. Then I suggest that you follow this process, because in order to ensure the accuracy of your writing. Now let's go through one by one of these steps. First off, we've got a topic selection, or choosing a topic. Okay, every essay addresses a specific topic. The choice of the topic is important because topic should not be too general. Okay, so a topic should not be too general. This is because if your topic for your essay is too general, then you're going to be really confused about what to write, because there are so many there's so many information, there are so many elements that you should add in your writing. Therefore, a good topic should be more specific. So you should narrow it down into more specific. Okay, and also a general topic, requires so many information, requires so many elaboration. So therefore, it's not enough to just write fewer than 5 paragraphs. Okay, so if you want to create only 5 paragraphs, then the topic should be specific. For example, in here there is technology. Okay, if you explain, if you describe, if you discuss technology in your essay, it's too general. Okay, you don't know what to discuss in there. Okay, so I suggest that you may want to make it more specific. For example, here, how to turn on a cell phone. So maybe you want to make an essay for those who do not know about cell phone. Okay, maybe you want to create an essay about how AI impacts our life, how technology helps teacher in managing classroom. So that topic is more specific. So therefore, it's going to be easier for you to create your own essay. Now, sometimes a teacher may assign a topic, but other times you may need to think of one of yourself. For example, let's say, in general, in class, I usually give or assign a specific topic that you should write about. Okay. However, as I said earlier, maybe in some other time you want to write your own essay, okay, for another purpose. Okay. Now, choosing or selecting a correct, appropriate topic is really important. All right. And then, but what if the teacher already gives you a particular topic to talk about, to discuss in your essay? Then here is some of the tips and tricks in order to nail, in order to be successful in writing an essay whose topics have been assigned by your teacher. Okay, let's take a look at the example. Okay, there are three scenarios, there are three options or selections that you can choose based on what your teacher, in this case I, have been assigned to you. For example, write a cause-effect essay illustrating the effect of technology on people's lives. Topic number 2, compare the characteristic of two fast food restaurants and discuss the 3 most important qualities of a good friend. Okay. Now, in order to actually do this question, okay, how to write an essay based on these assigned topics, what you need to do is, okay, number 1, ask yourself, number 1, what do I know about this topic? What do I know about this topic? Okay, are you familiar enough with these topics? Choose the topic that you are interested in, that you have, that you are more knowledgeable about. Okay, never pick a topic that is unfamiliar to you. Number 2, what do my readers know? This is important because your writing is aimed or is targeted toward a specific audience. Okay, if your audience is already well informed about a particular topic, then maybe the topic is not suitable for you. Try to find or select a topic that is still new or unfamiliar to the audience that you want to target your text toward, okay, or to essay toward. Number 3, what else do I need to know? What else do I need to know? Okay, of course, although you pick a topic that you already have knowledge about, okay, but it is still very advisable if you begin researching, if you also start or consider collecting information from the internet, okay, in order to make sure if the information is accurate, is correct. Okay. Number 4, do I need to research this topic? Now, this is related to the previous question. Number 5, what is the task asking me to do? What is the task asking me to do? Okay, focus on the instruction. Okay, focus on the instruction. All right. Many mistakes made by the students one of them is according to whether or not they follow the instruction or not. Okay, follow the instruction or not. And most of them also fail just because they do not actually follow the instruction, just because they start to go off topic, okay, or start to discuss something that is not actually told to discuss, okay. And then ask, what is the text's purpose? What is the text purpose? What is your essay's purpose? Is it to compare? Is it to explain? Is it to contrast, to describe, or to persuade? Okay, because each purpose requires different element, requires different style of writing. Now let's move on to the next slide. Okay, so guys, I want you to take a brief moment, okay, to do the activity 1, okay, and activity 2. All right, read the instruction carefully, okay, and do these activities in Google document, okay, in your Google document, and then add me as an editor in your file, okay? Now you can skip this part, okay, and then do it later, or you can just pause this video and then continue or carry on doing these activities. Okay, now I'll continue to the next slide. Next, the second step is called brainstorm. The next step in writing an essay is to generate ideas about the topic by brainstorming. There are several good ways to organize your ideas as you brainstorm, using a mind map, completing a Venn diagram, or drawing a T-chart. When you have brainstormed several ideas, select ones that you can use to write a well-developed essay. Start thinking about the thesis statement. Okay, this is, I think, one of the most important part of writing an essay. Okay, a brainstorm is very important because it allows you to gather as much information as possible related to your essay. Okay, so it's not like you write your essay spontaneously about whatever topic, about whatever information that comes in your mind all of that sudden. Okay, and let me give you one example. Okay, look here. I've thought that I want to write an essay about the effect of technology on our lives. I have decided the topic, okay, and I have not narrowed it down. Okay, I want to talk about technology, but specifically about the effect on my lives, on our lives. Okay, now start to think of what do we want to discuss? What do I want to discuss? Okay, in here, I want to discuss 3 main points about this topic. Number 1 is social media brings society together. And then, number 2, online shopping is closing stores. And the last one is texting while driving is dangerous. So our essay will be based on these 3 points, okay? So let's say each point is elaborated, is explained within 1 paragraph. Of course, in body paragraph, right? Okay, and then you can also add more branches, all right, in each point, okay, which give you information about what you have known, what your initial knowledge of these topics. For example, okay, social media brings society together. I think, okay, this information is already known. Number 1 is, okay, over 1 billion users on Facebook. And then people can find like-minded people online. News organization can reach communities more effectively. And then residents create online spaces for their neighbors to share info. And then the last one is, in disasters, people can get into more quickly. Now, what about the second point? Okay, texting while driving is dangerous. Why? Because most people have cell phones in their car. And then car accidents involving phones are up significantly. And the last one, my car accident. Okay, so I want to tell about my personal experience as well. And then it's hard to resist checking phone at traffic lights. All right, and the last one is cell phones distract drivers. Okay, and carry on with the third topic, the third point. Online retailers are often cheaper, and then easier or more convenient to look online. And the last one is more unemployment in some places. Now that I have gathered necessary information for my essay, okay, what I'm going to do next is that I just want to put these, this information, all right, into a neater outline, okay, all right. Let's go into the next slide. All right, so, but before I continue to the next step, I want you to take another brief moment, okay, pause this video or do it later by doing activity 3, okay? This is a T-chart, another way of doing a brainstorming. Use this T-chart to brainstorm ideas about the topic limiting children's screen time, okay? Now, I want you to compare your notes with your partner once you're done, okay? Next, the third step is called outline or outlining. An outline helps you organize the information and support the thesis. Look at the example of an outline of a topic. Write a cause-effect essay illustrating the effects of technology on people's lives. So after you create a brainstorming ideas, okay, collect ideas in brainstorming process. What you want to do next is you want to put it into a neater outline. Okay, by doing this, now you have a clear path, you have a clear guidance, okay, on what your essay is going to be about, what your essay is going to be filled with, okay, so that your essay won't be, there won't be too much unnecessary information, okay, because you've already known what to include, what to be put in your essay. So for example here, I write title, some positive effects of computers on society, and then carry on with introduction. Remember, introductions has got a hook, background information, and then of course you need to mention, it's important, thesis statement. This is really essential, okay? Once you miss out the thesis statement, okay, it's going to be your minus point. It's going to be your disadvantage, okay, because this actually controls all the paragraphs after that. Okay, and then number 2 is topic of the body paragraph. Number 1, effect on information. So I want the body paragraph 1 to be about effect on information, okay, and then I carry on elaborating the effect 1, effect 2, effect 3, and so on. And then topic of body paragraph 2 about effect on education, and if you've got another points you want to discuss or explain, you may add another layer of outline. And then the last one is conclusion, obviously, and then it's restated thesis, remember, restatement, yeah, and then prediction. Okay, so in conclusion you can add prediction, opinion, suggestion, advice, etc. Okay, just what we discussed in our previous sessions. Okay, next. All right, now take another brief moment to do activity 4, outlining a topic. Now, on a piece of paper, okay, or you can do it in your Google Doc file. Write an outline for the topic you brainstormed in activity 3. Remember the topic you did in the previous slide? Okay, when you brainstormed the information for your essay, right? And I want you to develop it into an outline, okay, following this format. All right. And then next step is first draft. The most important thing in writing a first draft is to write it. Yeah, so the first draft is that a process where you already put all of those plans, okay, all of those steps into your paper. Okay, so you start to write, right? So you start to write. Okay, a good strategy is to draft ideas on paper and then edit your words to match what you really intend to say. For example, if you're having a hard time with one sentence, just make a note like, add sentence about this idea later, then keep writing. Okay, so of course in this step, right, you just want to copy the information you made or you collect in the previous step in outline and brainstorm. Okay, just put it into a real paragraph, unwritten paragraph, right? But let's say you need to add a particular information, all right, and you don't know what to add and you don't know how to explain it, you don't know how to write it in a correct way, for example, right? You can add a mark, okay, a mark in there telling that you need to go back to that part afterward, okay, to continue with it. That's okay. First draft, we expected all of the errors, all of the mistakes in the first draft, okay? So it shouldn't be, it's not supposed to be a perfect form of your writing, okay? Because it will be done later afterward, all right? Now, step 5, get a feedback from a peer. This is also one of the most important, this is also one of the important step is that, sometimes there are some errors or mistakes that we don't know, that we're not realize, that we are completely unaware of, right? Maybe other person has the ability to spot that mistakes that you cannot do, that you cannot spot. All right. So that's why asking a peer, asking a partner, another person to check your writing is also part of the way, part of the important part of, process in writing. Okay. So a good way to generate ideas about improving your writing is to ask someone to look at your ideas and organization. When editing someone else's work, be helpful. If something is not clear, write a comment. So you, as the person, the partner that your friend has trusted you to check the paper, okay, you may want to, that's okay. Just annotate the paper, okay? Write anything in there, all right? No problem, because it's just a first draft, okay? Find the mistake, what should they do, and then once you're done, give the paper back, and then they will revise their paper. They'll revise their draft, okay? Pay attention to these points as a corrector, as someone who checks the work or the essay, the draft. Do these points. Number one, does every sentence have a subject and verb express a complete thought? So this relates to grammar. Number two, are there any sentences or sections that do not make sense? All right. Number three, even if I do not agree with the writer's viewpoint, do I understand the writer's line of thinking? Okay, so this is about first the grammar, right? And then the second one is about the cohesion and cohesiveness. Number three is about the structure, okay? And of course about the vocabulary and grammar, whether or not the grammar rules are applied correctly, or whether or not the vocabulary is used appropriately. Peer editing a draft is a critical step toward the final goal of a polished essay. Your essay will be greatly helped by the fresh perspective a new reader can give. Now, later on, you want to do a peer editing form. Okay, so in the separate file, okay, or the separate activity in Sekolahmu, you will find a peer editing form. It's like so you want to access that form. Okay, in there are two. There's one single file, but there are two pages. Number one is the peer editing form, the form itself, and the second page. In the second page, there is an essay or an essay draft from one of your friend in class that you want to give feedback from. Okay, you want to give feedback for. Okay, just follow the questions or the instructions in the peer editing form. Okay, do it in the same Google Doc file. Okay, I will check it later. And then the step 6, reread, rethink, and rewrite. Okay, now after you receive the feedback from your partner, okay, from another person, right? The next thing you want to do is to reread again which mistake you've made, rethink again what to replace or what to fix it, how to fix it. And then the last one is to revise it, to rewrite it, okay? So when you have received comments from a peer, use the feedback to improve the essay in the second draft. You can first do nothing if you think the comments are not correct. So if you believe that the comments are nonsensical, if it's wrong, if you believe that you're right, you're correct, then you can just skip it. Skip that part and go on to the next part. Number 2, add information if there are any unclear ideas or needed any parts clarified. So if it says you need to add another information to make it more, in order to clarify it, in order to avoid ambiguity, then yes, of course, you need to do that. Next, to cut information if it's too wordy. Yes, so maybe you add too much information, which is unnecessary, which can cause confusion to the reader. Okay, and then your partner suggests that you should remove it, then remove it. Okay, and then the last one is improve vocabulary if it's not appropriate or unclear. Okay, so this is about grammar, about vocabulary, etc. Okay, look at look at activity 6. Okay, responding to feedback. I want you to do this activity as well. Okay, in Google Doc. Read the teacher's comment on a student's first draft of a paragraph. Then rewrite the paragraph. This is an example of a comment, some comments given by a partner, okay, by the writer's partner. Okay, here they give an exact particular parts where they should improve, okay, or where there are mistakes in. For example, it's too vague thing, you should change with another word, and then wrong word, combine the sentences. The word really is not academic, then you should replace with a different word. And then these people who give elaboration, give appropriate reference. And then other prices are not negotiable. Is it always true? Okay, maybe you may consider changing it to although prices might not be negotiable or are partly negotiable, okay, because it's not always true. Okay, continue this activity too. Next up, okay, step 7. This is the final step, which is proofread the final draft. Okay, proofreading gives you the opportunity to correct grammar and spelling errors. It is essential to proofread your final essay carefully before turning it to your teacher. Okay, this part, you want to look at again your essay, okay? Some small errors or mistakes are sometimes overlooked, okay? For example, the punctuation, okay? And then spellings, and then some minor grammar, all right? For example, maybe the comma, or maybe the full stop, okay? The conjunction, yes, of course, that too. Now, look at here. Writer's note, adding a title. Okay, maybe at some point you completely have no clue how to write a title. Okay, how to make a good title. Here is a tip for you. One of the fastest ways to get a reader interested in your essay is through the use of an interesting title. A good title can also help readers better guess the content of your essay. Using an idea from your thesis statement can be an effective way to start brainstorming a title. Here are some alternative titles for essay 22.1. Okay, so these are some techniques, okay, some ways you can create a title for your essay. Number 1, use a question. For example, what are the dangers of texting while driving? That works. Start with ing form. For example, texting while driving. And then the colon, the dangers. Include an adjective. The dangerous trend of texting while driving. Dangerous. There's an adjective in there. Use only 1 or 2 words. Dangerous driving. That's enough. Okay. All right. I think. All right, everyone. So that is our discussion for today. I hope that you can focus on your tasks, although I am currently away. Okay. If you happen to have any questions, if you are confused about a particular thing, please don't hesitate to reach me out through Google Chat. Okay, I'm still going to be online on Google Chat in case you have any troubles. All right, thank you very much for your attention. Goodbye and have a nice day.